week one of not being able to review the One Piece manga, and already I'm feeling I already feel a little anxious, honestly. But okay, so right out of the gate with this MHA chapter, I will say I honestly did like how Horikoshi handled the conclusion to this fight and everything in between. The implications of the reveal at the end, however, is a little bit harder for me to get a read on in terms of how I feel about it, because it's one of those things where it works, but in my opinion also needed a little more build up within the arc itself, assuming it is the direction Horikoshi's going, which yeah, it's revealed to us at the bookend of the chapter that All for One's body had already reached its limits, and alluding to the fact that Eri is his next chosen vessel. I believe that's what Horikoshi's implying, which in itself, I do really like this reveal, because given Eri's powers, it does make logical sense that he would target her as his next body. And looking back on the moments we have had with Eri, specifically those with Aizawa and just discussions on the nature of her powers, there is a build-up to this reveal, so this isn't coming out of nowhere, but at the same time, like everything else with this final arc, it falls short of being built up within the arc itself, or hell, even the past couple arcs within the time skip itself. I feel like we need a little bit of build up, even pretty much in the chapter before the final arc. But like it felt like we needed more build up within the conflict itself for it to like mesh together properly with everything else. Now, with that said, I do want to talk narrative purposes of this, because knowing this is the possible route we're going with this, and that Eri will is All for One's next target. I kind of got my fingers crossed and just praying to all the gods and to all the manga gods right now that this means Horikoshi is going to bring Mirio back into the spotlight, because with Izuku otherwise preoccupied, Mirio is probably the only one who can help her, and the dynamic between All for One and Mirio would definitely be interesting to see, given Mirio's shared history with All Might and Izuku, and just how those two would play off. But just like in general, it feels like Mirio just has kind of been forgotten, and I just want him to have his, I want him to have his moment again. I want him to have that moment where he shows that even if he isn't One for All successor, even if he isn't All Might's successor, he's still like his own hero. He's still protecting the people he loves, kind of thing. And again, that part of the way though, I did love how Horikoshi handled the battle itself, and one aspect I particularly like is showing, despite how rageful he's acting, Endeavor was still very much in control of himself and his actions, going so far as to say that the only reason he's using this much of his power at all is to make sure All for One can't defend against his combustion ability that we see at the end of we see that where he roasted him alive, and the killer about it is it did work. The only thing Endeavor didn't account for was that All for One's body had reached its limits, which in itself is kind of weird, because while I'm glad he's not dead yet, I am also getting a little... It's one of those weird things where... I know I'm sounding like I'm contradicting myself here, but it's one of those weird things where even though I'm glad he's not dead, I'm also a little annoyed by how many times All for One has escaped death at this point, and it's kind of my worst fear coming true with a character like All for One, where he has so many plans and has a solution for everything that, for however logical it sounds within the context of the story itself, it becomes a little harder each time to believe that he has planned this far ahead. Whether he knows it or not, I think Horikoshi has encountered the same problem that DC has had with the Riddler, in the sense where the character is only as smart as the writer, and I feel All for One has kind of gotten a little too smart for Horikoshi's own good. Yet at the same time, I still do weirdly believe him when he says he hasn't played his big trump card yet. So it's structurally, I think the story itself provides a platform for All for One to be like this, but at the same time, All for One himself is kind of like getting a little out of hand with him. So yeah, it's like it's a thing where I have very weird and emotionally frustrating opinions on All for One at this point, I guess you could say. On the flip side of that coin, though, I do like how this is another chapter where we see Endeavor just accepting everything he's done has been wrong about, and just long after this, he'll keep carrying the burden of those mistakes, of every single mistake he's made, every single thing he's done wrong in his life until the day he dies. But in the meantime, he's willing to create a world where Shoto, his friends, just everyone who's trying to make a better future out of this messed up society can walk freely towards that future without his past actions acting as a burden to them. And I know there are a lot of people who will say Endeavor is getting off too easy, but this is kind of the best way to redeem him. Endeavor has done so much shit, has done so much bad shit in his life that he'll carry that stuff around like a brand, something that'll remain with him and remind him each and every day that the only real purpose he has in his life anymore is sacrificing his life and putting himself in the line of fire in order to protect those that are trying to make a better future. Even if that includes watching over Toya from this point onward, making sure that he doesn't abandon Toya like he had done before. It is really the only way he'll ever be able to find anything resembling redemption. He can't go Endeavor's kind of stuck in this place where he can't go backwards, but he can't go forwards either. He doesn't have he's a character who really has no place in society anymore other than to act as its shield and to allow others passage to move on to a future without him. Also, just on a pure aesthetic note, I really love the artwork in this chapter, and just in the simple things, like seeing the little details of Endeavor flames or the gruesome look of All for One's charred bodies that breaks apart, little artistic deals like that is the kind of stuff that really gets a reaction out of me, and especially All for One's face there at the end. You may have technically defeated me, but I've still won. It's a face of confidence that just says, yeah, you beat me, congratulations. But this body wasn't worth shit to me anymore. It's, again, still have weird thoughts on All for One, but it's little stuff just little things like that really really do also make me realize why he is so terrifying, because of his confidence in himself. And yeah, the chapter ends with cutting to Midoriya and something approaching in the distance, which if I had to make a educated guess as to what that could be, I think that might be the Air Force unit that was with Star and Stripes coming to help Izuku. I don't know, I've been wrong before, but right now that seems like the most logical conclusion I can draw from the final page. I don't think that feels like the only thing it could be right now, but again, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, analyze Crunchyroll, be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight MMA, signing off. Later, everyone.